Play the Titans on Sunday, coming back from the bye. And the 49ers have received some news today. Christian McCaffrey is on the injured list, on the injury update list. He popped up there today with a back injury, and we finally get to see possibly the end of Brandon Ayuk. That just came out too. We'll be talking about it right now. Welcome back, everybody, to the First and 49ers podcast. Thank you guys for showing up tonight, Saturday, 4:45 p.m. And I just had to come on here before the game, obviously, and talk about some of the big news. And the biggest news right now we got is a couple hours ago, Christian McCaffrey has been added to the injury report and is questionable for Sunday's game, per Adam Schefter, with a back injury, guys. Earlier this week, I think it was on Thursday, he was on the injury report listed with an illness, and then they said he was good to go after that. But a couple minutes after we got the update that he had a back injury or is questionable with some back issues, Adam Schefter came out with a newer update. You can see it there. I put it on Instagram on the original post. Adam Schefter says that CMC is expected to be good to go on Sunday versus the Titans. Now, Christian McCaffrey, he's been healthy all year long. And it's kind of scary because we talked about it a lot. I talked about it with my boy Rich. It's the 49ers use Christian McCaffrey a whole heck of a ton, right? He's getting almost 30 snaps a game, 30 carries a game, getting targeted multiple times in a game. And this is the first time this year we've seen him, I think, on this injury report, and it's kind of scary. When you see a back injury like this, we don't know the severity of it. Obviously, it must not be too bad because we see Adam Schefter here with the update saying that he will be good to go on Sunday. But that goes into question, do we really want to risk Christian McCaffrey's health to play a game versus the Tennessee Titans, a 2-11 team that obviously isn't very good? Is the 49ers, I want to believe they could beat the Titans without Christian McCaffrey out there. And if the Niners are getting a less than 100% Christian McCaffrey to go against the Tennessee Titans in a game that the Niners should win with Mac Jones in there, without Christian McCaffrey, with Brian Robinson as running back one, I don't see why the 49ers would just take the precaution and keep Christian McCaffrey out of this game. This is a late in the week injury report. His back flared up or whatever. This is Saturday before the game. And a couple minutes after that, we're getting the update after that Christian McCaffrey is going to be good to go for Sunday's game. If I'm the 49ers, I'm not risking Christian McCaffrey's health to go against this Tennessee Titans team that sucks. The Niners should beat him with nobody out there. They should beat him with Brian Robinson. The 49ers, if they are smart, they will sit out Christian McCaffrey as precaution to make sure his back is okay, is healed up. Give him a third week now. This is his third bye week. Give him the third week of a bye for Christian McCaffrey. Let him stay out for this week only. And don't risk him injuring the back even more, where he's going to be out the rest of the season. That's just the worst scenario of all time. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Niner Empire 16_. Okay, good. Making sure my audio is on. Sometimes when it's on the Instagram chat, you guys sometimes can't hear me, so I always try to double check. But anyway, beating the Titans. Beat the Titans without Christian McCaffrey, please. This injury report definitely scared me, especially when you're dealing with a back. I mean, as a running back, you're getting blasted every single time you're out there. When Christian McCaffrey gets the ball 30 times a game, that means he's getting damage done to his paws. He's getting damage done to his back a lot throughout the entire game. So I say let CMC rest and feed Robinson. I'm agreeing with you there, Niners faithful. Let Christian McCaffrey stay out the rest, just this game against the Titans. It's a game that the Niners should win. Let Brian Robinson get his carries, get his feet ready to go, get his legs ready to go for the rest of the season. This could be a perfect game for Brian Robinson to finally show something. And on top of that, if you have Christian McCaffrey inactive, I just saw, I don't know if you guys watched, but the press conference, people asked him about Jordan James. He says Jordan James has been looking great the past 6 weeks. Let McCaffrey sit out for a week. Let's split the backfield with Brian Robinson, and let's see what Jordan James can do. This guy, I think he was the Niners' third-round pick this season. Let let's see what Jordan James can do. Feed him a little bit. Obviously, give the majority of the reps to Brian Robinson. Get Brian Robinson's legs ready to go for the final stretch of the season. And just keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. Obviously, do I think the Niners are actually going to keep McCaffrey out? No. Especially after that report came out that Schefter put out good to go, that McCaffrey's good to go for Sunday. And when I talked about with Richie Rich 2 days ago or yesterday about McCaffrey when he had the illness issue, and he was like, "No, he's going to be playing no matter what." And the reason is he wants to get that thousand season. You know, he wants to be that first running back in NFL history to get 2,000 rush yard season and 1,000 receiving yard season. And McCaffrey, he's a grinder, dude. He wants to win every game. He wants to take every snap, every carry. And I respect it. I respect that competitiveness from McCaffrey and everything like that. But at the same time, if you're Shanahan, if you're the Niners, you want this guy, you want the best guy on your team, your best shot at winning the Super Bowl on your team, to be healthy for the rest of the season. So we're most likely going to see Christian McCaffrey tomorrow. Hopefully, if he is playing, hopefully it's at a limited snap count. I want to see Brian Robinson out there a lot more. And we'll see. Usually the Niners aren't really smart about these things. So that's what I got to say about that. Christian McCaffrey, hope he doesn't play out there. And if he does, let it be limited. N. Samuel J. What's going on with Brandon, number 11? I'm hearing he's going to be released from the 49ers. Yep. That's our next topic we're getting into right now, guys. That's the biggest news of the day. And that is Brandon Ayuk. Breaking news 3 hours ago. The 49ers placed wide receiver Brandon Ayuk on the reserve/left squad list. And this means Ayuk will be ineligible to return this season, per Matt Mayoko. So basically what's going on is I knew Brandon was going to be a bust. He wasn't a bust. That's the thing. He was so good. And they paid him all that money. And, the Niners wanted him, at least Shanahan wanted him on the squad for multiple years to come. And it's just unfortunate. It's a freak accident. He tore his ACL. It was a scary hit. That was the Chiefs game. He just didn't come back from it. And from whatever happened, basically the whole saga of Brandon Ayuk not coming back this season dates back to what we found out a couple weeks ago, reported by Mike Silver and Diana Rossini, is that Ayuk didn't show up to some meetings or some rehab assignments in the 49ers facility during the offseason. And so we found out that the 49ers actually took away his some of his guaranteed money on his contract, and Ayuk didn't dispute it. He could have, but he didn't dispute it. And I think that was the final snapping point, the final cut point for the 49ers and Brandon Ayuk. Because if you guys remember, I don't know if you guys all remember, but what happened was, yes, after he signed. So he was already signed, in 2024, he tore his ACL and MCL and PCL and all of that in like week 7 or whatever it was last season. So it's a long recovery process. And then during this offseason in 2025, he didn't report to any of these some of these meetings and some of these like rehab things that he was supposed to show up to apparently during this offseason. And so that was when ultimately it seemed like the Niners were ready to cut ties with Brandon Ayuk. The front office wasn't happy with them. They didn't want this contract to go through. This is what happened basically is the front office had a deal in place to send Brandon Ayuk to the Steelers that 2024 offseason. And then at the last moment, Shanahan was talking to Ayuk or whatever and was like, all right, we got a deal done with Ayuk. And so he ran up to the front office and telling him to halt the deal, halt the trade offer to the Steelers because Brandon Ayuk says he wants to stay with us. I got him to say that he wants to stay. I think that was Shanahan's ultimate biggest folly, if you will. Unfortunate, but it's unfortunate too because Ayuk, if Ayuk is healthy, if he didn't tear his ACL, he's a top 10 receiver last season. He's a top 10 receiver this season. And just what happened, we saw Ayuk out there. It seemed like he was going to come back earlier in the season. And then he just seemed to disappear after he was running those routes on the field earlier in the year. And then week after week came. And then that news that the Niners decided to take away his guaranteed money from his contract. That's kind of when things were going south is what it sounded like. And now he's being put on the reserve/left the squad list, which means he's not coming back this season. And what this means actually is I'll share my screen here. Just a definition of what a left the squad list means. It means that a player has abandoned his team. Basically, a player has this is the NFL rules. Any player who willfully fails to report, practice, or play with the result that the player's ability to fully participate and contribute to the team is substantially undetermined. For example, without limitation, holding out, or leaving the squad absent, a showing of extreme personal hardship. So what we got from that, guys, is Brandon Ayuk is ready to go. He's ready to play football, and he's made the ultimate decision that he's abandoned his team. He's not playing for his team, and he's healthy to go. And it just sucks because you've seen John Lynch and Shannon, everybody on KNBR, they keep asking him, will we see Ayuk coming back this year? And, it wasn't hopefully optimistic. John Lynch came out and he was like, all I have is hope right now. And it was basically sounding, he was just, what else is he going to say? He wants Ayuk to return, but it sounds like Ayuk was done with the Niners. And quite frankly, I'm sure John Lynch and the rest of the front offices too, their paths are going elsewhere now. So what you could do, because the Niners still have him under contract. They took away his guaranteed money, but he's still under contract. So hopefully the Niners don't just release him at the end of the season. Hopefully they're able to get something out of him, even if it's a sixth round pick. The Niners are good at getting 6th round picks, but I don't want him to be just released at the end of the season because just abandoning your squad like that. He didn't show up to the mandatory stuff, and it's if you're not a real person, if you're a guy, say I'm at my job or whatever, and I don't show up to mandatory training or something like that. I don't show to actual parts of my job that I should be going to, and then my company decides just to take away my money or just to eliminate my contract and fire me. They have every single right to do that because I didn't show up. I'm being paid to show up every day to do the things that my job is asking me to do. And they sever my pay, they sever the ties with me. And that's what happened here. It's a business, and Ayuk didn't show up to his job when he was asked to. And so that's ultimately what's going down. And it sucks because Ayuk, man, there's so many fun moments. I think most notably is that crazy ladybug catch in the NFC Championship game against the Lions, bouncing off the defender's head and him catching it, diving down inside the 10-yard line. And it sucks because Ayuk is one of the top receivers in the league. And not having him on this team this whole year, I feel like has hurt the 49ers a lot of bit, especially when they don't have that bona fide wide receiver one. You're counting on Ricky Pearsall, who's been non-existent the past 3 weeks since he's finally been healthy for the 49ers. And without him, without a bona fide wide receiver one, it hurts the Niners a lot, and it hurts their chances going forward. But that's ultimately what this situation is right now with Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, I had a hunch something was going to happen to Brandon the minute he signed, and bam, busted knee. Yeah, it's bad. I didn't really see it going this south though, which really sucks for the team, I feel like, and for the 49ers and everything like that. Who was the linebacker that walked off the game when the team needed him? Faithful Dan. Yeah, Devondre Campbell. Don't even speak that name. That man, it's like saying Voldemort. You don't say it. It's the guy whose name shall not be said. I was so pissed off. Devondre Campbell walking off the field like that, leaving his team, leaving his players, his teammates in the dust like that because he wasn't playing because they wanted D Winters to get some more reps. He wasn't the number one guy when Dre Greenlaw came back. When at the beginning of the season, that's the whole reason why Devondre Campbell, why the Niners wanted to sign him, because they needed a guy healthy enough to go until Dre Greenlaw got back in the season. And then he was just a baby about it and decided, I'm done with this. I should be starting on the team right now. And I made a whole video on that. You can watch it if you guys want to go back a year ago, 2024. It's in one of the highlights on my Instagram for some 49ers. One of my hard hit minutes. It's under the hard hit minute one. And it's all the homies hate Devondre Campbell. So you go watch that. But I'm just going to call him the player not to be named, Devondre Campbell. I'm pretty sure they cut him. Yeah, I think what happened, they kept him put him on the reserve or something the rest of the season because they didn't want to cut him during the year and they didn't want him to go play for another team. So, which was smart by them because he's just a scumbag of a player. It's pretty messed up what he did there. And just the fact that he didn't realize that he was just supposed to be a placeholder until Dre Greenlaw came back. I mean, that was just the dumb thing about him. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, that's one of the lowest moments I feel like in the 49ers in the recent years. And now we see Brandon Ayuk, similar situation. And I think once I heard the reports that the Niners decided to take away his guaranteed money. This was back in July, but it was reported a couple weeks ago, which is crazy that it was under wraps for all this time. It was like, yeah, it's pretty certain that he's not coming back. And just like Lynch, I only had that. Maybe there's just some hope that he wants to come back and play for the Niners and play for his team. But we're not getting that, guys. And hopefully, I don't know the situation, but hopefully they can somehow get somehow trade him and get something for him. I don't know how likely it is, but we'll have to talk about that later. Um, so we'll move on now from that Brandon Ayuk situation. Fired, yeah, fired. You're fired. That's what happened to Brandon Ayuk, and it's tough. We got one more update today before the game. Then we'll get into a tiny bit about the game. It's not gonna be too long of an episode, but we also got an update today after that Brandon Ayuk news. The 49ers have officially activated Jalen Graham, linebacker, and defensive lineman Sebastian Valdez, aka the Hulk, from the practice squad. And that doesn't mean they're going to be necessarily active on Sunday because that happened a couple weeks ago. I think when they promoted Sebastian Valdez a couple weeks ago, and I was excited to see him game day, but then he ended up being just a healthy scratch. And I think it's mainly just to see if I don't think there was anyone else on the injury report. So maybe we'll see Sebastian Valdez, but there might be like a secret guy that we don't know about. Not secret, but a guy that I haven't seen that was on the injury report. Like Yatur Gross Matos, that might be what it is. If Matos isn't ready to go for Sunday, maybe they'll elevate Sebastian Valdez on Sunday. So it's not necessarily he's going to be active on Sunday, but they're both elevating them to the team just in case they want to activate him. They have that option too on Sunday. So we'll see from there. What did you notice about the 49ers when Montana was there? When Joe Montana, I mean, I'm only 22 years old. I'm only 22 years old. I wasn't there for Joe Montana, man. I wasn't there for all that. I wish I was, but I've only seen the highlights. Um, but yeah, would you notice about the 49ers when Montana was there? I don't know if you're talking about when Joe Montana was playing or like when he was at the game or something like that. But yeah, I'm too young. I'm too young for the Joe Montana lore, but I love him. Lot of passing. Oh yeah. A lot of passing. Exactly. That was the whole thing. Joe Montana, greatest quarterback of all time. Big passer, great arm, great guy. A lot of passing. Yeah. But yeah, that's what we got for the 49ers activations for this Sunday. Um, we'll dive into a little bit now. I wanted to get into just really quickly. I already talked about it, so you guys can go back to the last episode, the last live I did with my boy Richie Rich. Just talking about the 49ers game plan against the Titans, but and I already talked about it a little bit, but I'll get into it a little bit more. It's just who do I think is going to have a breakout game for the 49ers on Sunday? And I think the 49ers, there's going to be this one guy that does have a breakout game that hasn't been too great the past couple weeks, and I already mentioned his name. But it's Ricky Pearsall, and I think his time is due. I think this is a perfect week for him to do it against this Titans team that is almost dead last, I think, in the league when it comes to passing defense and all that. And I think this is the time that Ricky Pearsall, he was getting back into the groove of things, coming back from his knee injury the past 3 weeks. Purdy's still been able to throw. He's got his targets already with Kittle, McCaffrey, and Jennings. Those are his main three. And I think just getting back in the loop of things, especially during practice, getting that momentum back and him clicking on the same page with Brock Purdy is going to be huge. And I think this is the one game where the Niners will be able to see that. I think Purdy is going to be able to push the ball down the field and be more aggressive with the ball. Because even if I don't want to see the turnovers from Purdy, but we know he's an aggressive downfield thrower sometimes, this is the game to do it. Because even if you have 1 or 2 turnovers in this game, I think it's going to be similar to the Panthers game where the Niners are still going to win. Even if they lose the turnover battle, it's a game that they should win. And it's a game you can't take the Titans lightly, but it's the time where you can take risks and try new things. And I think that's what's going to happen with the 49ers and hopefully with Ricky P. Hopefully I think he's going to have a game where he's going to get multiple targets and finally get back to the Ricky P we saw earlier in the season. That being said, the Titans have only scored an average of 15 points per game. The most points they put up this season was last week against the Browns. They put up 31 points. And it's a great defense. The Browns have a great defense, but it's also a terrible team overall. So it was a surprise. The Titans are getting going a little bit. Cam Ward is not someone to be necessarily too scared about right now, but he's a decent quarterback. He's shown signs of potential. Obviously, the first overall pick this season, so it'll be fun to watch him play. I think the Niners they should be able to take him down easily, especially how the defense has looked in recent weeks and how much rest they've had the past 2 weeks now. But this is a statement win game, kind of game for the 49ers. If they don't pummel the Titans, this is what I talked about last episode. The Niners can't be going in this game and finishing the game with, winning by 6 points or maybe even just one touchdown. This is a game where you have to win by multiple scores, especially going the final stretch of the season to show you got to show what they're made of. This is a playoff caliber team, and they need to play like it against a team like the Titans. They need to win by multiple scores in this game. And my score prediction, I believe I said 34-17. So that's multiple scores right there. The 49ers need to pummel the Titans. It's a game where the game should be over in the third quarter for the Niners. And it should be no ifs, ands, or buts. Mac Jones should be in there in the fourth quarter. Get Brian Robinson the reps. All the starters should be out of the game by halfway through the fourth quarter at least. And that's my takeaway from what this game is supposed to be looking like for the Niners. Because if you're a legit team, you got to put away teams that are 2-11, teams that have no chance. You got to show that you're a contender like the Rams, like the Patriots, like the Seahawks. So that's my take on it. Did you know when you play Bill Walsh playbook, it's impossible to stop? I noticed. Here's a funny little story. My dad has a ton of tapes from the old 49ers, and I put it in the VHS player, and I was noticing they're doing the Bill Walsh offense is Kyle Shanahan has built his team, with the West Coast offense influence, with that Bill Walsh influence, because obviously his dad was Mike Shannon and everything. And it's just crazy to watch because they're doing in the Bill Walsh 1980s teams, they're doing like these play actions or these jet sweeps like to Roger Craig and all that. And it felt like I was watching the 49ers of the Kyle Shanahan 49ers, which is really cool to see just the comparison and, just the what's it called? The reflection, they both of the offense reflect each other, and it's really cool to watch, and to see how Shanahan has evolved that offense and has used a lot of the elements from Bill Walsh's offense in that, and they walked away with 5 Super Bowl trophies. That defense is shot. Yeah, slacker. What's up, BJ? One slackers, Lambs, Seahawks all lose. Niners moving to number 1 seed. I hope so. A couple weeks ago, I was like, I don't know if it's that doable. But now, especially, you got the Titans. It should be an automatic win. But the big thing that stands out is the Colts game. They're going to be playing Grandpa Phillip Rivers out there. It should be a win. That Colts team, even with Daniel Jones the past 2 weeks before he got injured, they were kind of slowing down a bit and they were getting exposed. The Niners should win that game. It's the Bears and Seahawks games that worry me. And I genuinely believe the Niners could go on these next 3 games and win these 3 games. And that last game of the season is going to be for the number 1 seed against the Seahawks. But they are going to need some help. The Rams are going to need to lose 1 game before then. And I believe the Seahawks are going to have to lose 1 game before then too, because they're both 10-3 right now. Especially the secondary. Bill Walsh was a genius. He was. Mr. Walsh changed the game. He did. And, I wish I was around to watch it, but I do love watching those highlights on YouTube. If you guys have any recommendations on specific games to watch, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but I definitely want to go back. I watched a couple of the Super Bowls, but it's been a while now, so I have to go back and watch those again when I get some downtime. But going back to that Titans game, just really quickly, yeah, I do believe it should be a statement game for the 49ers. I should see Brock Purdy putting up 2 touchdowns at least. If Christian McCaffrey plays, which I hope it's a limited amount, he should be getting some carries. I expect Kittle to have a good game as well. Harold Fannin for the Browns, he put up like 114 yards on him with a touchdown and in 8 receptions. So I could see this being a big game for George Kittle as well. It doesn't look like the Titans are able to stop tight ends like that. And George Kittle, one of the best to do it in the league this year. I expect him to do some damage. So I could see Ricky Pearsall I think Ricky Pearsall is going to have a breakout game. And then just right behind him is going to be George Kittle, I think, with a big game as well. And I really hope to see that. So that's just my quick breakdown of what I want to see from the Titans game, what I expect from the Titans game. The Niners should come out swinging fast, swinging hard, and putting these Titans away if they really want to show that they're contenders, guys. We'll take a couple more looks at the Instagram chat here. Thank you guys for joining once again. If you guys don't mind too, I'm trying to grow my YouTube as well. So make sure to subscribe First and 49ers on YouTube there. I appreciate you guys on Instagram and everything like that, and always showing up in the chat. You guys are awesome. At first, Bill Walsh was hard to understand. It took him and Joe to work together, but look at the results. Take care, and Samuel J. Have a good one. Yeah, it did take him a while. But if you guys are still around, and I see a couple guys here on YouTube and Instagram. I had an interview today, and this is, you guys are going to see the sneak peek before it comes out at 6 p.m. I'm showing you guys a sneak peek of this interview I did with fake Kyle Shanahan, guys. And it's coming out at 6 p.m., but I'm about to show you guys right now this exclusive preview of this interview. So I'll let you guys watch it right now. Thank you guys for showing up. If you guys stuck around for this long, you guys get to see the preview of this. So you can watch the full thing at 6 p.m. It's going to be on my YouTube at First and 49ers. So here we go. Enjoy. Fake head coach Kyle Shanahan with us today. Coach, thanks for joining in for the First and 49ers podcast. First time coming in here. How you doing today? How are you feeling after this bye week?
Good, man. Rested. It's nice to not have to think about football for a little while. Come in with a clean slate. Yeah, I'm excited.
So give me your thoughts on how this season has panned out, considering all the injuries you guys had this season, and just all these injuries and the fact that you guys are 9-4 right now. Give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think it'd be hard to ask for much more out of what we've had to deal with this year. I mean, between the defense or the injuries on defense and on offense, we've been real lucky to have guys like Mac come in and really get us a few big wins. 9-4 feels great. I mean, honestly, I look back on that Jags game, and I feel like we could easily be 10-3 right now. But all that being said, the fact that we're still fighting for number one seed, or at least winning the NFC West, can't be mad about that.
Yeah. So how much do you think this late week 14 bye helped out your team?
I think a lot. You hear a lot of people talking about how it was kind of unfair that we got it so late in the season. Personally, I think it's great because now we're going into the home stretch when we're going to have 4 games that we need to win, and we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to be fresh, and I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah. So what is your mindset then going into this Titans game as you look to extend your win streak to 4 games this week, coming off the bye? They're a 2-11 team. Your team's going to be refreshed and everything. How do you go about this week? What's your message to your team?
Same message as every week. Just go out there, do your job, be in the right place. Don't get lethargic. Don't get complacent. They're a struggling team, but they're still a good football team, just like everybody else in the NFL. So we got to come out, foot on the gas and treat it like we're playing the Rams, and just go out there and give it our all. And we're going to need the faithful to get out there and get loud and make a difference like they do every week. Coach
Fake Kyle Shanahan, thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate you. I hope I can get you on again later on. Good luck on Sunday against the Titans.
Hey, thanks, man. Sounds good. Hey, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
LFG, baby.
Let's fucking go.
So there you have it, guys. If you were still joining in there, sneak little preview of my interview with fake Kyle Shanahan, head coach fake Kyle Shanahan, guys. It's going to be airing at 6 p.m. The premiere is at 6 p.m. on my YouTube at First and 49ers. So make sure to go ahead over there. Leave your comment below. If I'm hopefully going to get him to get an interview with him again later on this season. So if you guys want to hear more questions answered by Kyle Shanahan, leave it in the comments below as well, so I can ask him for the next time. It was really cool having him on. The guy, he goes to almost every single game, and he's going to the Titans game tomorrow. I haven't met him personally yet, but it was awesome to have him on the show. And that was just a little preview. So make sure you guys go check that out there on my YouTube at 6 p.m. at First and 49ers, guys. And that's going to do it here. It's a quick little video. I know I had to get into that Christian McCaffrey stuff, though. I had to get into the Brandon Ayuk situation there in the end of probably the Brandon Ayuk saga with the 49ers. But that's going to do it, guys. 49ers versus Titans tomorrow, I believe 1:05 or 1:25 p.m. Make sure to continue following First and 49ers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and X. Going to be live every single week the rest of the season. It's going to be a fun one. Niners are 9-4. They got to win on Sunday versus the Titans and continue this win streak. Hopefully get it to 4 on Sunday, guys. So thank you so much for joining, and make sure to leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you guys always for joining the chat on YouTube, on Instagram, and X. Go Niners. Stay faithful, baby. Have a good one, guys. LFG, baby.
Touchdown!